Top 10 Dr. Phil Show guests. Position 1. Zachary Davis. Appears in the Dr. Phil's show. Mentally ill or monster? Teen convicted of murdering mom with a sledgehammer speaks. Zachary Davis may have been Dr. Phil's most disturbing guest to date. When he was only 15 years old, Zachary bludgeoned his mother to death with a sledgehammer. The young man's mental health was obviously unwell during his interview on the show. He recounted his actions during the grisly murder of his mother as if he were describing folding laundry. The interview disturbed viewers and gave them a rare glimpse into the personality of a cold-blooded killer. Zachary spoke to Dr. Phil in a flat monotone whisper. It was obvious to Dr. Phil that Zachary exhibited symptoms of mental illness. Position 2. Mama June. Appears in the Dr. Phil's show. The Here Comes Honey Boo Boo scandal. Mama June speaks out. Mama June is unforgettable no matter what the context, and her appearance on Dr. Phil is no exception. The reality star mom came on the show to address several scandals surrounding her family. Mama June was accused of welcoming a man back into her life after he was convicted and imprisoned for sexually assaulting her daughter Anna. Allegations were made that June had allowed her youngest daughter Alana, also known as Honey Boo Boo, to sleep in bed with the sexual predator during a trip to North Carolina. If that weren't awful enough, Mama June took her betrayal of Anna to another level as she allegedly drained her trust fund too. Position 3. Burke Ramsey. Appears in the Dr. Phil's show. John Bennett Ramsey. Brother Burke in the secret interrogation tapes. Burke Ramsey's famous interview with Dr. Phil stirred up quite the controversy. The older brother of late child pageant star John Bennett came to Dr. Phil to finally share his side of the story. Burke was the only member of his family to have never addressed his sister's murder to the public. On the 20th anniversary of her death, he felt it was finally time to come forward and clear up some misconceptions surrounding the killing and investigation. Many questioned Burke's behavior during the interview. He awkwardly smiled while he described the events surrounding his sister's death. Many found this strange and speculated as to why he would act that way. Dr. Phil addressed this to the audience. His analysis of the situation was that Burke was simply nervous. Position 4. Anesca. Appears in the Dr. Phil's show. 12-year-old girl with extreme anger issues says violence makes me comfortable. All talk shows seek ratings through sensational guests. 12-year-old Anesca was as adorable as she was frightening. She had displayed so much violent and disturbing behavior that her siblings and parents no longer felt safe around her. On the show, Anesca herself appeared calm as Dr. Phil discussed her life with her. Her expression barely changed as she described finding a nest full of baby birds and crushing each one to death. That wasn't the first time little Anesca had killed an animal in cold blood either. She also beat the family hamster to death with a heavy metal flashlight. Position 5. Patricia. Appears in the Dr. Phil's show Why Is My Mom Faking Cancer? This guest shocked the audience and Dr. Phil alike with her outrageous lies and delusion. Patricia told her friends and family that she was dying from stage 3 brain cancer, and that's not the only lie she told about her health. She also claims to have lost 100 pounds in 1 week. Patricia says she's had more than a dozen strokes, and she even took money from fundraising events for her alleged medical expenses. There is no evidence at all that Patricia was ever sick. Dr. Phil painstakingly reviewed her medical records with her to prove she wasn't dying. Position 6. Little Mackenzie. Appears in the Dr. Phil's show I Need a Reason. Position 7. Peyton and David. Appears in the Dr. Phil's show 9 Seconds That Outraged the Nation. My racist father needs to accept the minorities in my family. Brave Peyton appeared on The Drive. Phil's show to try to make peace with her father, David. David is a member of the Ku Klux Klan. His daughter looks back on her childhood and recalls praise of Hitler, white supremacist rants and even burning crosses. David was imprisoned after planning to bomb an abortion clinic. After his release, he found that his daughter Peyton had given birth to her first child. A loving father would be overjoyed to meet his grandson, but David refuses to acknowledge his grandchild as even human. According to David, his biracial grandson can't be his family. He disowned his lovely daughter Peyton, leaving her feeling abandoned. Position 8. Carla Perry. Appears in the Dr. Phil's show My Mom is Delusional. She thinks she's married to Tyler Perry and has sent her catfish $100,000. Carla's story is particularly tragic. After a separation from her husband, Carla fell victim to a horrible online scam. Through social media, Carla began communicating with a person claiming to be Tyler Perry. Carla faithfully believed that this person was the filmmaker and playwright, although her children immediately saw red flags. Tyler Perry is a wealthy professional, but yet Carla received texts in broken English requesting money. When she appeared on The Drive, Phil show Carla would not see the facts. In a further twist, Dr. Phil happens to be close friends with Tyler Perry. He confirmed to Carla and her concerned daughters that this relationship was in no way real. Despite this, Carla maintained her story through to the end of her interview. Position 9. Danielle Bregoli appears in the Dr. Phil's show. Had America buzzing, returns to the show following months of treatment. It's hard to think of Dr. Phil without Danielle and her signature "cash me outside" catchphrase popping into your mind. Danielle's mom told Dr. Phil that her daughter was completely out of control and she didn't know what else to do. Danielle smiled as she bragged about stealing her mom's credit cards and car. She had no remorse for the anguish she was causing her family. She also threatened to fight both Dr. Phil and the audience, although no one was impressed with her tough front. As Dr. Phil revealed, Danielle actually carried a lot of fear and pain in her heart. Her parents divorced and her mother survived cancer twice. Danielle slept in her mother's bed most nights. It seemed her bad girl act was simply a defense mechanism against the pain of almost losing her mom. Danielle was catapulted to fame when videos of her bratty behavior went viral. She now performs under the stage name Bad Baby. She owes some of her success to her shocking interview on the show. Position 10. Tanya Ramirez appears in the Dr. Phil's show Teacher Scandal Confession. She had sex with her 15-year-old student. Tanya was a teacher and coach in Corpus Christi, Texas, before she ended her own career in the creepiest way possible. At the age of 29, Tanya gave her cell phone number to one of her 17-year-old students. That already seems like a bad judgment call. She texted the minor regularly for weeks before she began flirting with him. That's when she set up a date with her student. She invited him to her home at 3 a.m. The two had an inappropriate relationship and things got physical. Little did she know the young man had recorded video evidence of the encounter and sent it to classmates.